Welcome to the start of another highly questionable week. What do you like today, Bomani?
Joey Bosa's dad owns a strip club, but we're actually going to talk about his mom.
Dale, papi.
How embarrassing is it for the NFL that they had to cancel last night's Hall of Fame game?
Oh, everybody wants football to get back. Football gets back last night. There's some paint on the field. It congeals, and look at what ends up happening here. It's supposed to be as hard as tar. This does not look like a multi-billion-dollar industry right here, correcting its problems with hammers and then a...
Did that come from the store that way, or is that a makeshift solution?
All right, something you'd see a weapon in Mad Max being used, and the game is canceled. And here's the thing, Bomani, of course it's embarrassing for the league, but it feels like this league is consequence-proof, so lucrative, so profitable, that people don't think of this as a league that's not well-run, even though things happen all the time that indicate it's not all that well-run.
Okay, now this, let's be clear, not a big deal what we've got. It's not a good look, but people who are outraged need to calm down, stop and appreciate the hilarity of what happened. They put the paint on the field, right? And then they realized they had a problem with the paint. Then they heated up the field, and then somebody realized, wait a minute, heating up the field is making this congeal with the rubber pellets in the field turf. And then at some point, somebody got the bright idea, paint thinner. Let's use paint thinner. Then after they used the paint thinner, they realized that on the paint thinner it said, don't get it on your skin. They're about to play football on this. All of this from Mike Silver, and that is so funny. Did these conversations take place on an email chain or upon the last people that need to be making scientific interpretations of what to do next?
All of it funny, then the added bonus of Jim Irsay calling others incompetent.
Did they'll make the announcement that the game had been canceled from under his desk?
No, he was hiding.
Probably he did, huh?
Yeah, he was hiding from under his desk. He sent out a statement, press release.
It's like the one thing we can't blame Goodell for, but there may be a Ted Wells report to explain how all of this happened.
We can blame him for it.
Now that he has been forced to retire, what do you see in A-Rod's future?
Okay, if I had told you in 2004 that Alex Rodriguez would retire with 696 home runs, and no one would really care, how shocked would you be? Because one of the greatest statistical careers of all time is ending. This is a career that we thought would save baseball in a lot of ways and wash away the sins of a past era. Nope, he winds up having an albatross on him, unlike anybody I can think of. And now what happens for Alex Rodriguez, where Barry Bonds can always go back to San Francisco? Roger Clemens, he can always kick it in Houston. Alex Rodriguez, home for him is a college that he gives money to that he didn't play baseball for.
And now he's going to be an advisor for the New York Yankees, even though it seems kind of weird that the Yankees would want him around at all. This has got to be confusing to A-Rod, one of the athletes I've known who cared so much about being liked. He looks around, David Ortiz has suspicious stuff on the resume. We don't care. Bartolo Colon has a suspension on the resume. We don't care. This, one of the greatest careers we've ever seen, and this guy who likes to be liked looks at an afterlife after baseball in which he's looking around and saying, man, nobody likes me.
Well, they like him in Miami. He has a lot of experience in the health industry. You know, he can buy a couple of clinics here and start a big chain of clinics, you know, around, you know. A-Rods, you know, A-Rods, you know. Wow. He knows what it takes. Come on in.
Okay.
And apparently he has the good stuff. He never failed a drug test. You can't forget that.
A-Roids.
A-Roids. That's an even better name.
Did Lily King do the right thing by calling out Yulia Efimova for drug cheating?
Ah, yes, 2016, putting us Americans in a place that we love to be in, one of comfortable moral superiority over the Russians. It's like the Cold War just ended, we're right back in the swing. All right, this is Yulia Efimova. If you have been suspended and your suspension was tossed and now you're competing at the Olympics, it does feel kind of like fair game for somebody else to mention it.
But it wasn't just finger wagging. There was accompanying sound in which she said, among other things, look, I'm not a dainty princess. I'm not going to be that style. And so she said point blank, hey, she's a drug cheat. Don't wag your finger at me. If you drug cheat, I'm going to wag my finger right back at you. What are you going to do with that?
Do you know who will make a great Russian swimmer? A-Rod.
Ah,
there we go.
Okay, well, there you go. All right. I mean, okay.
Do you agree with Steve Kerr that it is absurd for people to call Kevin Durant a villain?
A villain is what they're calling him. This is Steve Kerr on with Michelle Beadle and Ramona Shelburne. Listen to this.
Honestly, to think of Kevin Durant or Steph Curry or really, any of our guys as villains, it's kind of absurd. But especially Kevin. I mean, this is one of the most likable people in the league. He's been obviously an incredible player, but just an awesome human being. And what he did in Oklahoma City was just amazing.
I find all of this kind of amazing. Where a millionaire has chosen to put his headquarters is something that is going to be viewed as villainous. And we've seen a pretty dramatic turn here, Bomani, where Russell Westbrook, the guy who was criticized for 8 years, is now the hero for doing what he did. Kevin Durant, who was the hero for 8 years, is now the villain. And none of them are actually changed. Only their address of one of them changed.
I would like to note, though, Steve Kerr said that none of his guys are villains, like Draymond Green ain't on the team no more. Come on, Steve. You're going a little bit too far here with this dad act that you're playing. No, Kevin Durant is not a villain. It is absurd to view him as such. I don't understand why anyone would have the hostility toward him. Anyone except Russell Westbrook. And see, that's where this gets to be fun, because if he really never talked to Russell Westbrook after he made that decision, it doesn't make Kevin Durant a villain. It's fair to ask if he's a sucker, though.
How should the Chargers feel hearing Joey Bosa's mom said they should have pulled an Eli?
Okay, Joey Bosa, the longest holdout since this new collective bargaining agreement that basically legislated the holdout out of football, hasn't been one this long. It's about the structure of the contract, not the amount that's going to be paid out. But apparently, Joey Bosa's mother has had enough of this. Right, wish we pulled an Eli Manning on draft day, which would be to say that she wished that they had strong-armed their way onto another team, which is hilarious, because who in the hell was Joey Bosa going to strong-arm in that situation? Joey Bosa, I know it's hard to do, but you got to call your mom, and you got to tell her to fall back, because she's not helping anything.
The question is, how should the Chargers feel? The Chargers should do what everyone does in situations like this. Blame the media for snooping around in the Facebook account of somebody's mom that none of us knew before she said the controversial thing on Facebook that we can all seize upon and make a controversy worse than it already is because Bosa's not saying anything. So why don't we just go to his mom? I'm all for this, by the way. I am not judging it. Let's go to all moms and get all moms to say all things they think about all contract situations, because we need to fill the show with something, and this will do.
And then the NFLPA would have to send out a memo like, dog, I don't know what to tell you to tell your moms, but you're going to have to tell your moms to chill out.
Let's keep going. I want to hear from cousins. I want to hear from friends. I want to hear from cleaning people in your house. Everybody. Give us all of it, and we'll just fill out the whole show and talk about Bosa's contract situation, which is something we don't actually care about.
She wants him to pull an Eli. She wants him to throw 3 or 4 interceptions a game. Is that what she
and
wants
then
to
make that
do?
sad face, make that terribly sad face because you've thrown another interception.
That's the same face he had when they won the Super Bowl.
Coming up next on my son's TV show, we talk to John David Washington.
What you'll like here to know is I'm pretty sure he has no idea who your father is. Like, he knows it, and I know, right? I know. We can tell him. Do you know who his father is? Do you know who we've been talking about?
Good.
Good.
My son's TV show is brought to you by Tempur-Pedic. Nothing feels like a Tempur-Pedic. Joining us at the beach today is John David Washington.
You may know his father, Denzel Washington. His son's an actor, too. Ballers, Sundays, 10 p.m. on HBO. Let's talk to him. Is it true that you had to audition for the role of Ballers 9 times?
Correction, 10 times. 2 different characters.
So 10 times. I'm wondering, before that, what would you call your greatest acting adversity before you arrived at Ballers?
I'd say the 7th take on Malcolm X. There was these kids that stood up at the end of the movie. If you can get through it, 2 hours and 30 minutes later, the last scene, there's these kids that stand up and say, "I'm Malcolm X," and it took me 7 takes to get that. And I was in the pressure cooker. Spike Lee right there, like, "Come on, you can do it. Just do it again, you know." And so that was pretty rough on me. But I got it done, and I made the movie. Didn't get paid, but I made the movie.
It's 4 words, man. I'm having difficulty understanding the difficulty of getting up and saying, I am Malcolm X.
He was very young.
Listen,
though, right?
okay, like not everybody is prepared and natural as y'all. It took a long time. Now, from that to now, I'm good to go. I mean, it's called experience, right? I got literally thrown into that. So, yeah, it took a while. Because, I had my own takes on it at 7 years old. I wanted to be creative. No, he wanted it a specific way.
We have my father on the show, so we enjoy asking in terms of competitive situations between fathers and sons. Do you have a story for us going up in basketball or something where, Dad was a hard fouler or unreasonably competitive?
My father shot like Larry Bird. I felt like he built more bricks than he did. I'd say he's a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm an Eagles fan. So we always were competitive in that way. He's an Aikman guy. I'm a Cunningham guy. I was a Barry Sanders guy. He was an Emmitt Smith guy. I'd say I think I'm the better athlete, even though at least he played six-man football in high school, and he's very proud of that. I was an All-American in high school, so your Oscars don't mean anything in comparison to when it comes to this field. So we go back and forth like that because he's highly competitive and loves sports as well. So.
What can you tell us about growing up, your formative years in Los Angeles? What can you tell us about some of the things that you endured or overcame? Being judged, having these preconceived notions of nepotism and silver spoon. I worked for everything I got, from the scholarship to the NFL, even to this role I'm getting now, and I'm auditioning, getting turned down all the time. I've been Steve Smith, he's the GM. Rick Smith, the GM for Houston. He brought me in to work out for them twice. He told me lose 10 pounds by the end of camp. They're going to sign me to free agency. He waited in his office after the workout. He made me wait an hour before I got up there, and he said, "You'll never play in the NFL again, but I want you to come work for me." Now, that could be an honor to be told that. I took it. That was a heartbreaking moment for me, and that was kind of the microcosm of that moment of Rick Smith, of what kind of how I approach this business. Like that, I see that my father didn't help me. In fact, it hurt me in the NFL because they would say I don't need the job. I'm not asking. That's why I don't even like to get into it, because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. It's just something I had to overcome, but it's the truth.
Well, were you ever apprehensive about getting into acting because you didn't want to be judged or evaluated in the context of somebody else?
Yeah, the apprehension stemmed from that nepotism hesitation, right? I didn't want the people were going to assume people. That's why I didn't even do any press when season 1 came out. People didn't know I was related to him. I just wanted people to see the work. But yeah, the apprehension, that's where it started, from people judging me, I guess. That's what football helped. That was kind of my coding, my shield, if you will, to protect myself from any kind of judgment, because I can't say the defenders didn't try to tackle me because of who my father was. I mean, that's silly, right? So.
What do you got for him, Papi?
Yes, John David, can you give my son some acting tips? He was pretty bad in that scene that he had with you in Ballers,
I was awful.
I think if he just remembers to breathe before he speaks, he'll be, there you go, he'll be fine. Okay. He did good, though. He was a natural. He needs to breathe.
He was a natural.
I think the better solution is to call somebody else. A little bit more natural talent.
He's always angling. He's always angling. Thank you, JD. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Gracias, JD.
Thank you.
By the way, what you'll like here to know is I'm pretty sure he has no idea who your father is. Like, he knows it I know, right? I know. We can tell him. Do you know who his father is? Do you know who we've been talking about?
Good.
Good. All right, fair enough. See you later.
All right, yeah. Thank you.
Get off me. In the cut, I'm rolling up my broccoli. Yeah, I know, your baby mama fan of me. All she wanna do is smoke that broccoli. This broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that regrets sunbathing in the nude. Do you question?
Give us topics and events. We question them.
Do you question if the country should be fearing Deshaun Watson?
Best player in college football.
He's really good. The country, but should we fear him as a country? That seems extreme. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah. He can do everything. Those are very big hands. Yeah.
He's set to graduate at the end of this year, too.
I know,
third.
But come on, though, man. That does not look like a college kid.
I mean, no, not exactly.
I mean, that guy looks like he's 30 years old.
Well, he shouldn't have put out that video, because there is going to be an executive in the NFL that is going to say, well, he makes a very good wide receiver, That's what is going to happen.
Sad but true for 100, Alex. Sad but true. He's only 6'2".
Do you question if the NHL needs some of this?
The KHL. It's hockey. It's Russia. It's the second period. And it's coaches.
some of this.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yes is the answer to your question. Of course. It's a preseason game, by the way.
Hey, this ain't got nothing to do with the intensity of the game.
Yes.
This is just all about beef.
Yes. The guy on the left has more of the beef.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Let me tell you, that guy with the camera where he has it right there, he's got a bit of a dilemma. On one hand, I need to get this footage. On the other hand, if something happens to this camera, they're going to take it out of my check.
Wow, I love all guys fighting in Russia. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, there we go.
yes,
That's
there we
right.
go.
That
There
kick
we go.
was so mean.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Hockey needs some of this, friends.
That's right.
I don't
Come on,
think
get
I
out.
ever noticed
Don't
that
stay
one
down.
guy
That's
is
it.
barefoot.
That's it.
Yeah, look, David Tell is just leaving there. He doesn't care.
King of
Wow.
the, king of
There
the
we go.
block.
Now he got
Oh,
even.
man. Phil
Yes.
Donahue came and turned the tables.
Phil Donahue. This is, man, you could show this video for the rest of the time.
These guys that make great hockey coaches, you know
Yes.
that?
Keep
The
going
one
on.
in the middle, I feel bad for. Like, how'd this become your fight?
Oh, jab.
Wow.
Yeah, jab.
Oh.
Oh, equilibrium problem.
Oh.
Kick
I
him
think
while he's
also
down.
we are kind of downplaying the danger every time a man of that age falls.
Yeah. Well, what fun would that be?
I'm just saying, like, this could
why
have
would we-
ended real badly for both of them. They're tough guys.
Time to play the game that is impervious to pain. See? Or no?
Tell us what's on television tonight. We'll tell you if we're intrigued.
On NBC Sports Network, Olympic basketball, USA and Venezuela.
Man, we've been beating up on China and Venezuela. Have we played anybody other than China and Venezuela? Here is a play from the game against China the other day. And Paul George, this is as embarrassing a moment as I suspect any of the Americans will have the entire tournament. Of course, you can only laugh so much if you see that score in the upper left-hand corner. Why is he trying so hard at that point? Bomani, are you intrigued?
I wouldn't care if they beat China by 100 points. If Paul George is from my neighborhood, you're going to have to explain how that dude put you on skates.
Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Listen, I'm telling you tonight, Venezuela is going to put up a hell of a fight. I'm telling you something, that game that they had against China, Venezuela check all the videos and they know what to do tonight. Tonight, Venezuela is going to come out swinging and it's going to shock the basketball world in the Olympics.
The only thing they should do is bet on the United States. That's the best chance they have to win.
Are they going to win? Are you predicting a victory? Okay, let's move on.
On Fox Sports Florida, Giants and Marlins.
Ichiro got 3,000 yesterday, but we don't want to talk about a guy who's like using a spatula up there, hitting the ball, dinking and dunking. No. Let's watch something 500 feet from Giancarlo Stanton. Oh!
That's a line drive.
Oh! Nobody in the sport hits the ball harder than that guy.
Like ever.
Woo! Bomani, are you intrigued?
Gotta say, be a little more impressive if it wasn't that course field. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa,
The altitude.
that's
you know?
haterific,
That is-
man. Come
that's
on.
first class hate.
Come
I
on,
couldn't
man.
even carry it
I
all the way to
can't
the
believe
end.
you did
What
that.
else was I supposed to say? You took all the damn he hit it for?
Bobby, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But every pitcher in the major knows that, you can't just throw a fat pitch down the middle of the plate to Stanton because he's going to do what he did there, Plus, he's going to strike out a number of times. So you cannot throw a fat pitch down the middle like
Right.
that.
I asked him the other day. My father called him a whiffer at a charity event. And I asked Stan, do you remember that? No, he's like, oh, yeah, I remember that. A guy who hits the ball that far. You want him mad at you? Really?
On VH1, Shaunie's home court.
Shaunie is Shaquille O'Neal's ex-wife, and we've got a situation here where we're discussing some birds and some bees with her son. Let's listen.
I was in your room, and I ran across that. Just wondering what that is about.
No, I've not had the sex talk with my mom. I feel like we just had it right now.
You're really uncomfortable, huh? We should be able to talk about these things.
We don't have a relationship now where I'll be like, oh, Mom, yeah, I just smashed this girl last night,
Why do you have
sounded
to
weird.
say it like that? I don't know.
That's how I say it.
Let me ask, I was with, I had a date last night, and then maybe I'll say, what did you guys do? And then you
I
say,
smashed.
I look forward to having that conversation one day with my own father. Bomani, are you intrigued?
Better to find it than not find it, if you know what I mean.
Bobby, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Let's have it right now.
No,
That's
thank you.
it, huh?
No,
Well,
I was
you
just
see?
kidding. I was just kidding. All right, what would that sound like? Go ahead. Let's
I
hear.
don't
Let's hear
wanna
what.
talk
Let's hear.
about
Let's hear
it.
what that would sound like. Let's hear what that would sound. Because I imagine it's going to go as well as it did in my actual childhood, which is like that right there. It's just him giggling. It's just
You got to
him-
talk to your mother.
Yeah, yeah. Go talk to your mother, Dan. Go talk to your mother.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Check out Bomani's radio show, 4 to 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Thanks for listening and watching and whatever else it is that you were doing.
Gracias. See you mañana.
So when a man and a woman love each other very much, they smash.
There it is. The birds and the bees, ladies and gentlemen.